Hello guys, welcome back to Influence Nam. This is our second episode and in studio today we have Ay4 all the way from around the region. So let's get into it. Hi Adolf.
Hi, what's up?
Hi Ay4.
I'm good. What's up? Tongue twister.
Tongue twister.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me. We're finally here. We've wanted to do this for a while.
Yeah, God's timing.
Timing.
Godspeed, as they say.
Yeah, so tell the people that listen, that switch on to Influence Nam, who Adolf is, who Ay4 is.
Yeah, it's fourfold. A4 is a child of God, saved by grace. I am a husband, father, and also professionally, I'm out there doing the music, doing the writing, whether it's writing lyrics or writing journalism. That's the gift that God gave me. It's to inspire the youth out there with the message put out on a plate for them to digest. Okay. Yeah.
So I've heard you say child of God and I've heard you say husband and a father. What two words do you think describe you the best?
Two words I would say is courageous. I'm a very courageous, brave guy. I go for it. I'm a go-getter. So that's now courageous. And I think on the other hand, I am someone who's an advocate. So that's what I'm all about. So I advocate for a few things out there, mostly youth, because I know, like, through my life, I was a guy who used to be caught up in the wrong stuff, drugs, alcohol, ladies, whatever, and I now have the mandate to take care of the youth. That's why I'm out here, People are like, yo, why you dressed like this?
Yeah,
you're almost like that age, but yeah, it's to advocate to take care of the youngsters because they need a role model, and I need to be brave in everything that I do because I have really been through the most, but I want to use what I have to enable future leaders to not waste their lives, but use it for their intended purpose.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
So share with us your most authentic childhood memory, and then just kind of tell us where exactly did you grow up?
I've been jumping around. My dad was always being promoted and stuff. I'm one of those guys, when I was a kid, I looked like such a sweet little boy, but I was always up to mischief. So, let me give you like two really cool, memories that I had. It was with my best friend, Tuli. So we were, we were neighbors as well. So me and Tuli, we decided to go into, Tuli's parents' bedroom. Because like that's how it was back in the day. You're best friends, you're everywhere, and we got a matchbox, and then we decided, today is today. This is now in Tsumeb. We're gonna burn Tsumeb down.
Wow.
So Tuli took one match, didn't work. I took two, didn't work. He took three, I took four, and then there was like grass that was nice and yellow. I just threw it in there and it burned. It's like probably like 2 hectares or something, like 2 soccer fields worth of grass that burned down, and then we just saw fire brigade coming. So that was so cool.
Oh wow.
I was like, yeah, we did it, young.
So you felt like little champions.
We achieved it.
How old were you when this was happening?
I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, wow. So you are from the Tsumeb area?
Yeah. So yeah, basically when I was born in Ochiwarongo, Chiwarongo. So and then but my parents lived in Tsumeb.
Okay.
So my dad was a teacher there, and my mom did clothes. She was a designer. So
kindergarten
time after school. That's what we did.
Okay.
One of my fondest memories.
That's amazing. It's so cute how whatever our parents do throughout the time that we grow up gets embedded in us as we grow older.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about your educational backgrounds.
Yeah.
So, journalism. Tell us about that. What drew you? Was it the mass media type of thing, or was it the English in it?
To be honest with you, like I was a radio geek. Growing up as a kid, I used to listen to football. So back in the day, in the 90s, I would listen to the Herero station, and we had a guy called Kavi. So this is the guy who I wanted to be like. I wanted to be like a soccer commentator. So, and the guy used to make a lot of noise, and you know, the energy, you can feel him there. It's like when you're listening to him, you feel like this is even better than watching it on TV. So I would copy him. I would like create this little toys of soccer, then I would play with them against each other, and then I would commentate that, and people would say, oh, this guy he's nuts, he's lost it. But that was like how I knew that I needed to be in radio. That was my passion. My mom is a creative person. She designs, she tailors, so that I got that creativity from her. My dad is more analytical guy. He's a maths teacher. So growing up in high school, we had to obviously choose, what did you want to be? And everyone always says, no, I want to be a doctor. Stuff like that, you know. You sound like a very smart person. I want to be a doctor. What? But later I saw, okay, I'm a very business-minded person, you know, because business management, I would get a lot of high marks. So I went to study business at Polytech, but it didn't work for me because I would always not get good marks for accounting, because I never did accounting. So I dropped out, and then I said, okay, you know, whether people like it or not, I'm going to do media. So specialized specifically in broadcast because of the love I have for radio and television. So later on, because I am someone who enjoys writing, being a poet, I started writing poetry way back in my high school. So I decided, I can do it all.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, so I would transition radio, TV, and print.
Great. So tell me, I know that you did a stint at the Yung radio.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that like when you do, you know how sometimes you really want to do something and then you get into the field academically, and then you get to do it and you're like, Or was it like a flawless thing for you? Because now you were in the space that you'd always dreamed of.
I was specializing in broadcast media. My lecturer, Mr. Tyson, the guru himself, was my lecturer. As a child, I saw him read the news when I was 8, and I was like, wow, this guy's good. Like, he just read the news like he's just like reading like he's just reading a newspaper or something. And when we were in the classes learning these things, we realized that these things are not so easy. It's all about practice, it's all about passion. And I really enjoyed the way he taught, and there was a person that then resigned at Unam Radio. I for the life of me, I couldn't get to be a presenter. I knocked on doors, I broke the door down. The guys were just like, it's not for you, it's not for you. But then, you know, being a child of God, you know, I was just like, I'm just going to apply. I just told, Mr. Tyson was actually now the supervisor of the whole radio station. I just told him, even if you just make me like the news manager or the presenter, it's fine with me. And God, actually, that was even my first job. God was just like, there was so many other people who were presenters before my time, and they applied, but they didn't get it. It came to me, you know. It brought a lot of envy and stuff on the campus. It was rough, but it was God's blessing. There's nothing you can do about it. And we succeeded in a lot of things. Unam Radio, we renovated the place, we got online, we were visible, we got we really pioneered a lot through that 1 or 2 years that I was there. And if you look at some of the presenters that are out there doing their thing, Dishishi Hamufungu on NBC Radio, he was a presenter during my tenure there. Paul the Prince, He was my presenter. He was my production manager. DJ Kiki, who you now, Felicia, who is now a DJ. Vanessa, who is an actress. Vanessa Kamatoto.
Yeah.
Those are that's the team we had. It was vibrant. Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
But my final year, it was my second year at UNAM Radio. I decided to call it quits and focus on my studies, because I was final year. I needed to make sure that don't get distracted. Make sure that you finish. You need to finish what you came here for. So I then decided to go more into print. Did a stint with 99 and then went into print. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're finally at the print avenue. Tell me. And this is something I've actually dreamt of asking a lot of journalists because we live in a country where it can get a bit controversial. What is the toughest or most challenging article you've had to write throughout your career?
Yeah, sure. Let me think. There's actually quite a number of articles. It's sometimes when you are writing an article and it's something that you probably don't agree with, but then you have to get the job done because your editor told you, I want this story. So there's a number of those inner conflicts that you're like, why are we going down this road? Are we trying to sensationalize news or what's happening? When I was still very young in the industry, I was at Windhoek Observer as an intern, that was my entry level into the industry. I wrote a story, I think, for some criticizing almost like the netball. I was a sports journalist. I started off as a sports journalist, obviously because of my influence. That's what I love from my childhood. And I think I offended a lot of people by a story that I wrote about netball, that it sucks and stuff like that. So they came through, they were like, why did you do that? What? But I mean, I did my investigations and I gave you the chance to comment and you didn't really help yourself. So sometimes you can step on people's toes, but I always write in a way where I represent both sides of the story. So
obviously that comes with growth.
With growth, yeah. So initially that was one of my toughest ones I can remember.
That's good.
Covering death and stuff like that also is very challenging. I think there was an incident where a lady was crime actually was very challenging for me, even during my time where I already was someone who was seasoned in the field. I covered a story of someone during the COVID-19 who was allegedly raped, a minor even in one of these facilities that we call where they recovered, and he was working now for the Ministry of Health. So it was rough.
I can get that as a dad, that will also be challenging outside of the professional.
But what happened is when you're in court, these guys are they're not handcuffed properly and stuff. And there was a time when these guys can chase you around court. One of my colleagues from NBC was chased around there. The police are just looking. They're like so nonchalant.
About it.
And I had to even dodge. Someone was throwing bricks and another one threw me with water. But I just kept recording, the water just going, I just kept, because I know this video is the one.
It needs to trend.
And it trended, it won me an award as well. So I was like, thank you.
That's good. It's actually, I guess it's you being out on the battlefield and doing what you do.
Exactly.
So the most exciting part of this interview, Mr. Ay4.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from?
Ay4. I was sitting with my friend at UNAM and I was like, we need to come up with a name for rap, for my pseudonym now. I always, when I was rapping in high school, I used to go by Easy A. So that was like my favorite rap group was NWA. These guys were raw, Compton. They were just all about insulting the police and this and that and this. It's Easy A. MC Yella, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube. and I was Easy A because I was so raw, and we had a crew who we called Ghetto Family. So we would record at one of my friends' place. I don't think some of this music we cannot play it for the people. It's too much. It's very vile, you know. That's how we were, and that's how I was when I was not saved. And I used to always want to be Easy A because he was the most raw one. He was the gangster.
Doing your honorable thing. And
so now that A, I remained with the A because it's the first letter of my name, and I added the 4 now. The 4 is basically the Holy Spirit, Adolf, Jesus Christ, and God the Father. So that's how I kept it. I wanted to go for AK something, but then I realized there's other people also AK something. I don't want it to look like I'm copying and stuff, so I remained with A4.
Okay, good. So obviously you come from a creative side. I mean, your mom being creative, and you always having had a taste of radio. Did you at any point ever think you wanted to be an artist that published their work, or was it kind of such a background thing when you know you were talented, but you didn't really look at that being published?
When you look at the parable of the talents, even though I did a lot of music and rap in high school, it was not really something that I saw doing. Like, I'm pursuing this. Initially it was all about poetry. So in high school I loved my literature. Got introduced to literature. I think I excelled in it. Even though I'm a media student, my second major was literature, English. And so just because I love it, I can read books and analyze them and stuff like that. I can watch movies and analyze what they're doing poetically. So this poetry then ended up becoming music also. So the writing part of it, telling a story, being a storyteller. So it started off as fun, you know. I was just used to collect beats in the hostel, and then, you know, we used to have this thing called we used to come in the gym hall. We used to then freestyle over beats there, and I joined in, you know, as a poet. Sometimes I'll drop some poetry, sometimes I'll drop some music. They called it verbalize. So ciphering, and then, you know, I started hanging with these guys, and then, you know, we just became what it is. And then later, as I took these beats in my room, I started producing my own songs, writing bars, and then back in 2014, then I dropped my first tape called Blood of the Lamb. And then later again For His Glory, 2017, and working on new stuff now.
Okay, so when we were doing sort of the forecast for this, For Your Glory really stood out because I guess it was the most promoted project.
Yes,
Like, what was it? What was the process of writing it? Where were you in your headspace when you wrote it? What did you think the impact of it would be?
You know, it was all about, for me, it's all about introspection. What am I feeling? What is it that I want other people to relate to? So being a young person, I earlier spoke about, you know, being an advocate for young people. I also advocate for mental health. So I did a song with Yung Kavin called Champion. It's all about telling my journey of how I overcome obstacles. Because, you know, that guy who burned the field was also getting involved with things, you know, as when I was at, like, I spoke about dropping out at Polytech, or that time it was called Polytech. It was not just accounting that made me drop out. I was involved in a lot of, like, fights, brawls, alcoholism and stuff like that, you know, where I almost blood was shed and stuff like that. So I want to also get young people to know that, no, you don't have to go down that road. So that's what inspires me. I get inspired by life. I get inspired by the Holy Spirit. And I get inspired by the love and care that I have for young people. I don't want people to waste their lives. I want them to be role models. Use whatever you have as a talent to be the change in your world, in your community. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using now my music. It's probably, not all of us can be pastors.
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants to jump around and become pastors. You go and pray for people who are dead. You know, you start lying to people, and you know, you see the guys come, he's eating rice, what, and he's now resurrected. No, or prophesying, you know, you cannot play with these things. So I use my talent, which is music, which is writing, for the young people. And I think it's something that is also very easy to digest, because sometimes people don't want to be told what to do, you know, stop fornicating, stop drinking. No, you need to tell it in a way that is a little bit better to accept too.
Okay, so tell me, as an artist, obviously you've been in the industry while you know the challenges from a developmental spectrum in Namibia in terms of music. Is there any way that you see that Namibian artists, especially underground Namibian artists that are not, can benefit from their art in the spaces that they are, outside of it being that they need to be outside help? You know, there's somebody who gets up and they realize that they're really good at mixing beats. What platforms do you think artists can create amongst themselves to make it actually work?
Yeah, there's a lot that can be created. People need to come together and collaborate and work together. You need to know why are you, first of all, you need to know why are you doing this thing. Because if you don't know, you will give up, or you will just do what the other guy is doing until, if the other guy decides to do amapiano, you'll do amapiano. If he decides, okay, he's on a sabbatical for 2 years, you'll also do nothing. If he releases a video, you'll release a video. So every artist, we need to come together. Hip hop, specifically, we are here to tell the story of where we are. Where we are in the ghetto, where we are the poor people's newspaper. Yeah, you know, like that's what we are. So we need to tell it like it is there. So in this doing, in this message, everyone must take what they have. If you love hip hop, you don't have to rap. You can be a DJ, you can be a producer, you can even just be a scholar, you know, where you come up and say, you know what, I'm an archivist. I'm gonna collect all the information of the past and teach people about Namibian hip hop and stuff like that. So there is a space. We have the internet. We can get there and tell our stories. There is people like UVL who are creating platforms. So get out there, find creative ways to showcase the Namibian story of hip hop. Let's organize events where people can come through and have ciphers, you know, underground rappers can come through. You know, you never believe it, but underground rappers sometimes are even more talented than established guys. It's just that they are not known. If you go into the location, there are guys who are killing it. Kids from Namib High School, Triple S, you put these kids in front of the microphone. They rap with passion and they tell their stories. So for me, as a West Coast artist, I would say let's work together. Number one, unity. So collaboration. Number two, let's find platforms where we can let artists also be known.
That's true.
So let's create compilation albums. Let's create workshops where we can train people how to make money out of their music, how to stream their music and get income from it, or whatever the case may be. Everyone has their talent. Let's teach each one how to maximize it.
Potential. Right, so earlier on in the interview you mentioned that you're, you know, a husband and a dad. So let's talk about family. How did you and your wife meet?
We met at Warehouse Theatre. So I was that time when I was still a radio manager, station manager at Unam Radio, and I went to cover an event. I took one of my presenters, you know, trying to show them the ropes. You know, you need to be out there, you need to socialize, you know, get to know people. Don't just be a studio presenter. And then I sat at the table there. You know, there was a lot of other radio presenters, Max D, Princess M, you know. Like some of the people were starstruck. Wow, this is where, this is, you know, it's very nice, eh? And there were also some print journalists, and I went to sit there, you know, and my presenter there was free alcohol. So these guys, some of them, they're not used to it, drinking, and I was just engaging, and I was not even like hunting for a lady or anything. So I was just like, the conversation is flowing, you know. So long story short, I just gave her my business card, and then it was the jazz festival launch. So the next day was the actual jazz festival, 2014, I think. And that specific day, I just followed her wherever she was. Yes. And just observing, and I could see that she's my type, you know. I was also comparing her to the other ladies. I was like, nah, this one stands out. I like her. And then that's how we started becoming friends, and then from friendship it just grew into a relationship, engagement, marriage.
Okay. Yeah. So you have kids. How many kids do you have?
I have three girls. I call them the three little birds.
Cute. Yeah. And I think they're all under the age of 15, right?
Yeah, they're all under the age of 6. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. What is your family activity, that sort of culture that you guys have established for yourself as a home, that you do on a regular basis?
We like going to. There's actually a lot that we do, né?
Your favorite. Let's say
my
what's
favorite.
Your favorite?
We like going to do picnics. So that's also what we used to do, me and Melba. So that's my wife's name, Melba, Melba Kaure. So my kids' names are Ela Kayani, Zinande, and Imani, all named after celebrities.
That is, you decided that creativity must reach the next generation.
Exactly,
as well.
yeah. So yeah, we go for picnics. We just sit at the beach, put some food there, and enjoy the sunset and listen to the waves.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually such a cool thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to know a little bit about your Christian walk. As you said earlier, you're saved now, and a lot of people don't really get the insights of what a Christian walk looks like, coming from rugs to riches.
Wow.
There's a lot of struggle in that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, like in short, about your Christian walk. How did you come to salvation, and how has that been for you?
Yeah, funnily enough, music was also involved. So yeah, God he's divine. He has a divine direction. If he wants to save you, I mean, he wants to save everyone actually. Yeah. It's just that sometimes we're like, no, I want to do it all by myself. I can do it. I can do it. I can become rich. I can whatever. So I was first year at UNAM in 2010, and during that process where I was collecting beats, like I always used to do, I met a guy, and I was still not saved, obviously, so I was collecting circular beats. I still listen to circular music. I was just like, they sound better, so and then he played me some Christian music, Christian hip hop music, and he was just asking me, who do you think this is? Because I was still in that Lil Wayne, T.I. 2008 was a good year for music, so I was still listening to those T.I. And I was like, okay, this is probably Lil Wayne. And he said, no, this is not Lil Wayne, this is Flame. Ooh. Really? Oh, it sounds like, okay, who's this? Oh, maybe this is Jay-Z. No, this is Lecrae. Oh, but he doesn't sound like a Christian, so no, it's the beat that makes it hip hop. He's still rapping about Christianity. And then I collected this music and I started listening to it. And through that, I went to the church where this guy was worshiping. And as the pastor was preaching, the Holy Spirit just hit me in my heart of hearts. And it's like a feeling where you feel like, I just have to give my life to Christ now. Let me see what it's all about. Because it feels like, you want to be free, you're in a rubble and then you want to just break free. So when the pastor was preaching, I went to the front and he prayed, and it's not really even the prayer that saved me. It's just my own conviction. And I think that day, it was like one of the best of my life. It's the 4th of April, 2010. I could feel, like, spiritually, I could feel how the devil was trying to attack me, ruin my day. But he was far. He couldn't reach me. It was just peace.
Divine appointments.
Yeah.
So I know that you guys are currently busy with a discipleship program, and you've incorporated that with the whole youth aspect through COSTEP. How has that been, like being out there, spreading the word of God in a space that you really are magnified to work in?
Yeah, like, youth, young people is always on my heart. So my local church is Every Nation, Swakop, and I just decided, I've church hopped a bit, but after Corona, I went to see Every Nation Church Swakop, checked them out on Instagram. I was like, wow, they just behind my block here, so I can walk there. And immediately as I came through there, I was welcomed by Pastor Neil Stradom, his mom, wife. The family was welcoming. Joined the Connect group. This is where we learn about biblical foundations, being strong in the Lord, and immediately also, God is one who knows what your mandate is, your calling, and the pastors also. They also pray. The Holy Spirit also told them, no, this guy, he must deal with students. So I started getting involved with the students, and it has been really good influencing young people to do the right things, growing into Christ. People were baptized, people were saved, people have been faithful in Christ, and it's really remarkable being involved in the field, in the harvest field with young people. Answering difficult questions, getting them to, while they're young, already loving God. Some of us, we were in fights, we were being drunk, getting high.
In the peak of the youth.
In those years. Now it's so nice to see young people living the correct life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something I wanted to touch on, I was hoping you would, but on the music subject. I know that you're part of a cypher group called CHH. CH. The cypher group here in the coast.
Okay, yeah.
So you guys featured on UVL NAM a couple of months ago.
Yes.
How did that come to be, and are there going to be more cypher projects from you guys as a group?
Yeah, we did a cypher for UVL. Yeah, UVL is a group now that was founded just to unify people in the music industry for hip hop. Yeah. And there's a lot of artists out here. I just touched base with a few artists, and we did a cypher. Basically, we wrote it, we recorded it, and we did a video, and we launched it. And it's also part of me being the light of the world, and the salt of the earth, being out there with everyone, whether you're saved or not saved. We need to still be there. If I record even with like people who are not saved, because later you see people are now. I came back to the studio. People are now rapping about Christ. They're like, there's always that deep longing to know God. So another friend of mine who was also on the cypher, he was backslidden. Actually, we were in the same church, and I could see he's now running back to God. So that's the impact that happens when we are also there amongst the people who are struggling in their faith. So the cypher, we are definitely going to come through with more ciphers. I'm also working now with people from Walvis Bay. We are busy. I don't just want to rap in English or rap. I also want to now touch with my Omkala friends there. Let's do something in Afrikaans. So there's going to be a few plans coming. I don't want to say too much, but definitely, I have a friend called Mark West Coast. We are working on something as well. So watch this space. We are definitely gonna do more ciphers. And what my dream is actually to see a compilation album for the West Coast, where everyone brings their tracks. We put them on one album, and we say this is a tape that represents the 064.
So how many features have you done over the course of your musical career?
At the moment, sometimes you have to be a little bit alert what the Holy Spirit is telling you also, because I, first and foremost, am a minister of the gospel through music. So I don't really aim to chase fame and to chase clout and stuff. But I've done quite a number of features. My tape, which is coming out soon, Also features a group from Arandes, duo, two ladies. The guitarist, Zion. Ish, I don't know. I think they killed me on my own track. Ish, those girls, they are anointed. We did a song for my wife called All I Need. And I like the song. If you like your own songs, then ish. If you don't like it, if other people don't like it, then it's really none of my business. We killed it. And I did a song also with a lady, she won a competition. So I was a judge for Erongo Got Talent in last year.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, so her name is Honey, and she was the winner of the competition, and divine direction. Yeah. She called me up and said, I want to do a song with you. I was like, okay, let's go to the studio. I've been writing this song for so long. I'm 6 months. I just need a hook.
Yeah.
So just come through. And I spoke to her mom. She's still grade 10. She came through and she just nailed it. The song's name is More and More.
Okay.
And for now, I think that's what I want to do is now shoot music videos.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for them to finish with their examinations. Then we're gonna drop a few music videos as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of dropping music videos and speaking of the next body of work after For Your Glory, when can we expect the body of work?
Yeah, definitely before the year ends.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the tape is done like 95% done.
Okay.
So by the end of I think even November I will be dropping it. At the moment that's why I'm here. I've been busy with my media tour and just letting the people out there know that this is my music and this is what we're all about, and introducing also the young people like Honey, because the lady can sing, there's good singers out there who won awards. Compare her to those people. She can out-sing some of them. That's how good she is. So I want to also push the next generation of musicians and rappers. By the time I'm like Dr. Dre, when I step out of the ring, I want the other people to run with the same mandate. I don't want to be rapping until I'm 50 or 60 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm already paving the way, and then hopefully with time I can start also focusing more on production and pushing these people. Yeah.
Okay, so Adolf, tell me from a literature perspective, because you're really an avid reader, writer as well, what is your ultimate favorite goal, quote?
My favorite quote,
the one that you read and kind of just stuck.
I'm one of those people now, to be honest. If I read a book, I never remember the author. I never remember some of the books, the titles that I read. I just remember content. It sticks in my mind. So I have a book by Tupac. To be honest, Tupac, when I looked at his life, sometimes when I read his poetry, I feel like he was even a better poet than he was a rapper. And he was obviously the GOAT of rap. Like, if you look at his serious work, not this commercial stuff under labels and stuff under death row. When you look at things like Baby Don't Cry, Brenda's Got a Baby, stuff like that, Till the End of Time. He I don't know what to say about Will Smith, but he wrote a lot of poetry for Jada Pinkett Smith, right? All Eyes on Me was also a poem.
Okay.
That was also a poem. So if you listen to that song, you would see how emotional Tupac was as a human being.
Okay.
And I would say, go read that book. It's called A Rose That Grew from Concrete.
Okay, cool.
So read that. That is I think the title itself, the
would
rose.
Be what does it for
that grew from concrete.
And I think it's also because you can really relate to it. So we're running to the end of our interview, and it has been fun talking to you. But I just want to know, in terms of the promises that God has spoken over your life since you got saved in 2018, what is one promise that keeps jumping out at you?
It's just, it has always been the same. It's always been the youth advocacy. And I recently also released a track called Letter to Myself, which just speaks about mental health awareness. So I dropped that on World Mental Health Day, which was recently. So God is using me now as to bring hope to young people, to bring hope to the people who have no voice, to be a role model, a proper role model for the young people out there. There's some other people who are more talented probably, but you need to ask yourself, are they actually influencing the young people in the right way? Are they happy with this? Especially when we look at the social evils that are in this world. People are drug addicts, people are committing suicide. There's a lot of rape out there. There is fatherless generation of men. There's men who don't understand what masculinity is all about. Stuff like that. So
would you say the scripture that says, before you were born, I called you as a prophet to the world, would be the promise that of God that you see actively in your life, in terms of your work, youth activism?
Yeah, it could be. And also, I look at the book of Joshua at the beginning, where Joshua was called in to take over from Moses.
Yeah.
So that's what drives me also to be strong and courageous, meditating on the word day and night, knowing that if I do this, God's promises are yes and amen, because he does tell us that he will not leave us nor forsake us. So when you look at Joshua 1 from 1 to 8, he speaks about the same promise that was given to Abraham. Joshua continuing with it. So that's what carries me. I'm all about passing on the baton as well. So that picture of Moses leaving it to Joshua, and then Joshua also providing a platform for others, that's what I'm all about. So youth advocacy.
That is amazing. I'd like to thank you so much for sitting down with us today. And I hope that we've done justice to giving you a platform as an artist, as an impactor, to actually come say something and do, what we need to do to create that platform for you. Wish you all the best from Influence Lab. And we really do look forward to future collaborations and seeing you guys out there ciphering and impacting the youth. Thank you.
Yeah, just as a last word, I just want to tell everyone that whatever God has put on your heart, just deliver it. He provides everything through that. And whatever your gift is, use it to the best of your ability to influence other people to be better at what they also are called to do. So, and that's also what I speak about on my track more and more with Honey. I speak about just wanting to crave God more and more. Whether you're saved, whether you're not a Christian or not, whether you're backsliding, always go back to your first love, which is God. He will provide that way for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for watching the second episode of Influence Lab. See you on the flip side.